What's up, gang? It's that life. I'll be right with you. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. I really do appreciate your time, your energy, your passion. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. If you find yourself liking what you're hearing, liking what you're seeing, if you find a good place in the chat there with some cool people, then please think about doing that stuff. It's all free to do so. If you're in the financial position to do so, there's other ways to contribute. Venmo up here in the corner. A buck or two is plenty enough. Anything above that is totally beyond you. Totally up to you, excuse me. And then you can sign up for YouTube memberships just underneath me. You can send a super sticker, super chat in the lovely chat there. You can also sign up at patreon.com/BostonBrian. I would really appreciate if you gave it a shot, gave it a look, see if there's any tiers on there that fit your liking. And if you like the show, like I said, and you're in the financial position to do so, think about contributing. But how's the chat doing today? How's everybody doing? Appreciate you guys once again. Thank you so much to the mods. As always, you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for your time and keeping that chat a safe place. What's going on, Gamer? What's going on, Cam? How are you? Hi, Elaine. What's up, Jess? What's going on, Susie? Hi, Tanya. What's up, Tiff? What's up, Vicky? Hey, Bob. Hey, Roxanne. Thank you so much. Hey, Vasantha. How are you? What's going on, Don? Welcome from Massachusetts, buddy. Good to see you. What's up, Corey? Appreciate you guys. All right, make sure you guys are hitting that like on the way in. Let everybody filter in now. We got a lot to talk about today, a lot to discuss as usual. I think somebody said it in the chat earlier. Another day, another scandal. We'll also have some more information going on about the January 6th pipe bomber. We'll be asking the question, does he support Donald Trump? I think he does. Apparently, due to his own words, he does. We'll also be talking about another area of just blatant and outright massive corruption right in front of your face because a Trump and Don Jr. backed company is cashing in on a massive Pentagon contract that we need to talk about. So we're bringing that as well. We'll also be diving pretty deep, not pretty deep, but we're taking a look at a few different clips, a few different channels taking a look at this kind of subject of the MAGA Civil War that we've been highlighting for some time now. Well, Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, the whole thing has kicked off once again. So we'll be taking a look at a few clips. It's now being picked up by some other channels and kind of laughed at, mocked, highlighted, which is a good thing. We'll also be looking at Russia launching some more strikes just hours after negotiating in what they call or what is called some, peace talks. But yeah, we'll be looking at the damage and the footage from those strikes. But and also Trump's bingo participation trophy. We'll also be taking a look at that unbelievable fucking scene that people all over the world were laughing at, mocking, ridiculing. I mean, there were shorts from people in Scotland, football fans all over the world that watched the draw, that watched what happened, were just in awe, in shock that Donald Trump and FIFA would generate this ridiculous fucking award and medal created out of whole cloth just to appease Donald Trump, just to make him, just to make him feels goods. You know what I mean? But again, before we dive into all that, I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be adding another show. I didn't feel I was seeing you guys enough. So I just want to let you know that we'll be on Fridays now at 2 p.m. So that's going to be Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. 2 shows on Wednesday. I think I get the whole schedule somewhere right here. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So we got Sunday, 1 p.m., which you're watching right now. Then we got Tuesday, 2 p.m., Wednesday at 1 and 8:30, Thursday at 2 p.m., and Friday at 2 p.m. And those are all Eastern times right there. So, do the maths, figure out where you are on the maps and, figure out the time zones for that. But, yes, we are going to be at another show. We figure, with everything that's going on in the news, going into midterms, it's going to be ever more important to be on top of this stuff, to make sure that people are involved and engaged, and in whatever way possible we make this stuff digestible to the everyday normal working class individual in this country, so they can stay involved, get involved, know the facts, know who they can vote for, make clear decisions based on what's happening in reality. Then I think we're doing our part. But so just write that down in your schedule. Like I said, all you got to do is hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when I go live. You don't even have to remember the schedule. But yeah, let's dive into it. A couple articles first, then we got some clips to get into. But what do you say we do the old pipe bomb suspect here, because I was reading this article that people were talking about. And, it's funny how this stuff happens, but this is the CNBC article. January 6th pipe bomb suspect Brian Cole confessed, says he supports Donald Trump and has anarchist views, MS Now. So accused pipe bomber Brian Cole Jr. confessed his crimes to the FBI, MS Now reported. Cole also told agents that he supported President Donald Trump and held anarchist views. Cole was arrested nearly 5 years after allegedly placing explosive devices outside of the Republican and Democratic Party offices in Washington, D.C. on the eve of the January 6th Capitol riots there. But, it's funny that you got to see Kash Patel go out there. You're going to have to see Fox News try to, applaud Kash Patel and the DOJ and stuff. But they won't bring up the fact that this man now, per his own words, tells you what side of the aisle that he's on, right? And why, not why may have, what he was trying to cause here, but obviously the intent, what caused this leading up to it, the rhetoric, the bullshit from all of the politicians, the bullshit from Donald Trump, the fucking fake electors, the whole scheme in and of itself is what led these people to take these drastic actions that, they thought their country was legitimately being stolen from them, right? Donald Trump and the Republican Party did everything possible to propagandize their base into getting them to believe that their country was literally being stolen from them right under their feet. The same thing, around the same lines that they're trying to say now about the immigrants, where your country's being stolen, your jobs are being stolen, your fucking homes are being stolen, yada, 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 by the brown people and the people with them. But it's along the same lines as that. But this is how far it pushed people. This is how far it pushed people to build a gallows in front of the Capitol, to bring a gun and bear spray and mace and fucking, hatchets and whatever the hell else they brought to the Capitol to try to, enact, to get their fucking, their will upon the, the electorate there. So, I mean, you can tell how far they push people with their propaganda, but it's not being reported by Fox, RSBN, OAN, Newsmax, none of those people. They'll kind of clap for Kash Patel, but they won't kind of tell you the ins and outs here. But Cole was 30. He was arrested Thursday morning, as we reported, in Woodbridge, Virginia, nearly 5 years after allegedly placing the explosives outside of those two places, as we talked about. Let me see here, because he talks about during his initial court appearance on Friday afternoon, the government told Magistrate Michoila Apadahaya, excuse me if that's a really tough one to say, that Cole spoke about the authorities for more than 4 hours. Right. So federal authorities have yet to publicly disclose what motive Cole might have allegedly have had to plant the bombs. But I think it's pretty safe to assume that if he was a Trump supporter, that he was probably, like I said, propagandized by the bullshit, propagandized by the lies from not only Donald Trump, but the rest of these politicians. He thought his country was being stolen from him. And, he wanted to make sure that, he did his part. He took action to try to, gain just a little piece of that country back. So he could say he didn't sit by idly, as his president was telling him to, to do something, to march on the Capitol, to stop these politicians, to do whatever it took, right? But let's see here. He's also charged with malicious destruction of attempted malicious destruction by means of fire or explosive material. I believe there are more charges to come. Doesn't really get too much deeper into. I thought it would get a little bit deeper into what he said about supporting Trump there, but I guess they'll just kind of make that in the headlines. But yeah, just a little bit more insight into the background of this suspect here who allegedly planted these bombs outside of these the Republican and Democratic Party offices on the eve of January 6th. So, I just kind of wanted to bring you up to date. I'm pretty sure that at some point we'll find out, obviously, a lot more about not only motives, but who he supported, his affiliations, as people dig deeper into, his background, that type of stuff, his social media accounts, if he has any, yada, 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 especially when we can expect more information being released by the FBI and the authorities working on the case as well. So, just, to keep everybody up to speed, keep everybody up to date. But moving on from that to, just more blatant corruption right in your face, the most corrupt administration that this country has ever seen. Bar none, by far, the most blatant, the most in your face, in broad daylight, given zero fucks whatsoever, like they are kings, basically. That's how they're ruling this. So you can see here, as it said on the screen, Trump Jr. backed company cashes in on massive Pentagon contract. Let me see if I'll make this a little bigger on the screen. So you guys, in case you want to read along, makes it a little bit easier to see. How's that? So check this. So a startup funded by a Donald Trump Jr. backed venture capital firm has been awarded a $620 million contract from the Pentagon. I've heard upwards of $900 million too, depending on who's reporting this, but it goes on. Vulcan Elements, a small rare earth startup, will receive the funds as a part of a larger deal from the Defense Department. The $620 million loan is the largest made by the Pentagon's Office of Strategic Capital. Now, we're going to tell me that there's no shady backdoor dealings here by Pete Hegseth to funnel money into Donald Trump's family to make sure that he's set up for life. I don't know, maybe with the promise of a little kickback after all is said and done. I mean, now we're talking about Don Jr. in a rare earth startup company getting almost $1 billion contract from the fucking Pentagon. But no nepotism, no corruption, right? No backdoor dealings. What are you talking about? Jesus, he's not profiting off the backs. And this is taxpayer money. This is your money. This is my money. This is your family's money, your co-workers' money, right? This isn't private investment. He's not talking about the ballroom and Palantir and the rest of these defense contractors throwing up $20, $30 million out of their own pockets. No. This is your money and my money. Okay, so it goes on. It's far from the first time Don Jr. has reaped the benefits of his daddy's presidency. Vulcan is backed by the 1789 fund, where Trump Jr. sits on the board. 4 of his companies in the 1789 fund's portfolio have been awarded government contracts just this year to the tune of more than $735 million overall, according to the FT. According to Trump Jr., he plays a big role in where the fund spends its money. In February, he told the FT that he was, quote, very involved in the strategic decisions regarding where to invest our resources, end quote, at 1789. And just a few months ago, it was reported that the Pentagon awarded a contract to an obscure drone company where Trump Jr. had to be an advisor with a multi-million-dollar stake since November 2024. This fund is just one more avenue for the Trump family to make money off of the presidency, from newfound crypto billions to global real estate deals made by the Trump organization. We are far from the days in which presidents had to relinquish their peanut farms. Obviously Representative Carter there. But I mean, this is going to go down in history, ladies and gentlemen, as the biggest fucking theft, the biggest grift, right? The biggest act of corruption, the most blatant act of corruption, the most corrupt family, the most corrupt presidency in the history of this country. Okay? And there's so many examples now that you can't even name them all. It's almost impossible to remember them all. And that is exactly his plan, right? Because inevitably, a couple of them are going to fall through the cracks, and those couple may be worth hundreds of millions of dollars in the end, right? And if he can get his wishes, if he can use that, that all fucking granted power by the Supreme Court, not only to help him, but also his family, then they can get away with all of this money. And they're doing it, again, in broad daylight, in front of your face, without fucking care. And it's not being reported on like it should be by the mainstream media. Okay? And again, that's largely due to this Steve Bannon effect of just flood the area with bullshit, right? There's so much going on between ICE, tariffs, the economy in this country, foreign policy, what's going on with Putin, what's happening in Ukraine, what's going on between Israel and Gaza, what's happening between, Trump and Maduro, what's going on with our Navy down in the Caribbean, what's going on, pick your poison, right? You're talking about war with the Mexican cartels. I mean, just any one of these things is going to flood the zone. It gives you so much to fucking have to talk about and have to cover that you inevitably miss a few things along the line. You just cannot. There's not enough time in the day. You don't have enough time in the show. You just inevitably cannot cover all of the corrupt actions, the corrupt dealings. The fucking the ignorant policies. The ways in which he's harming allies of the United States, the ways in which he's literally destroying, long-lasting relationships that we have with countries with, strong economic ties, strong trade deals, strong trade partners. You know what I mean? It's so much, and he's doing so much fucking damage that it's difficult to stay on top of it, which is why it's more important than ever that I think independent creators, independent fucking, I don't know what you want to call it, but shows like this that try to, pick different things in the news and make sure that people are informed and try to bring it to you maybe in a different way that it's not so mundane, boring, and it turns you off. Maybe it's a little bit humorous, maybe it's a little bit funny, maybe it's a little bit wacky, right? Maybe you're not used to hearing it with a Boston accent, whatever it may be. If it keeps you in tuned, if it keeps you up to speed and up to date with the facts, and it keeps you informed, then I think we're doing a service here. But to see this shit going on, and add this to the $800 million that he stole, in his fucking corrupt crypto dealings, or the NFTs, or the Trump watch, or the cologne, Melania's necklaces, Melania's this and that, the books, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Add that to the list of shit that is just, blatantly should be illegal, against the fucking rules, regulations, policies, procedures, any other word you want to use for that. It's just, it's completely against the norms of this country to allow this to happen without calling it out, without it being a huge deal to everybody. And again, referencing Jimmy Carter having to give up his fucking peanut farm is, an absolute joke looking back on it right now, when you consider the fucking how wide the theft is here from this family and how far they're willing to go. Both Eric, Don Jr., fucking all of them. They're all grifters, hacks, thieves, con men, fraudsters. And they're using their power. They're using dad's fucking power as the president. They're using the cloak of invincibility that the Supreme Court has given their father to their benefit to do everything that they want, that they weren't able to get away with in the first administration. They've learned their lessons on how they can rob, steal, and cheat, who they needed to put in what positions to make sure that shit happens. That's what they learned. They didn't learn how to, better take care of the country. They didn't learn, what the American people really wanted in their first term so they could better serve the people in the second term. No, they figured out how they could better rob, cheat, and steal, the system. Get more, suck more out of it without getting caught, or, without being able to be prosecuted, whatever it may be. That's the shit that they learned in their first fucking administration. So, yeah, this is crazy. And you'll see this being widely reported as well. But, make sure that people know this when they continuously talk about, oh, no, there's no nepotism. He's not trying to enrich himself. He's not trying to enrich his family. Oh, yeah. Well, guess what? Did you know that Don Jr. has received almost $1 billion in government contracts, to companies that he's either, on the board of or directly backs himself? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't know this type of shit is going on. I'm sure there's people out there that don't even know really about Trump's fucking crypto, scheme that he had going on and how much he made from that. So you're going to make sure you continuously tell people. You can't assume, we always say it here, you can't assume people know what you know. You can't assume people are as up to speed politically with what's going on as you may be, because you guys are, watching Blunt Politics. You guys are watching all of these different creators and all of these different news shows and reading articles and, Substacks, whatever it may be. And you guys are staying informed. But not everybody, is that informed or is staying that informed. So, just wanted to obviously bring that to everybody's attention. But let's dive into this nonsense, because holy shit, we don't have to watch too much of it, but just to bring it up, because obviously everybody was talking about this. What an absolutely embarrassing fucking moment, right? And let me see if I can just find you, just so I can show you, people laughing at Donald Trump, right? Let's see. I'm trying. So I'm just gonna do people laugh Trump FIFA trophy. That's probably gonna bring up the other one too, where he stormed the stage after the team won, and they're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing here?" I want to see if there's a couple shorts I could find, because there was a couple I found, and I'm not saying that I'll be able to find them real quick, but there's different people, and they were just watching it for the football. They're football fans, and it's from, like I said, Scotland, the UK, all over the place, Ireland, and they're like, "What? Did they just make up a fucking award for this guy? Did they just literally make up a trophy and a whole fucking award for this guy?" And it was funny to hear them laugh. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'll pull up YouTube real quick. If not, we'll dive into a couple seconds of this in case anybody missed it. Let me see. Trump, let's see. Laugh Trump FIFA award. There was a good Saturday Night Live did a good one, but I can't play that because of copyright problems. I'm trying to find one that I can play here. Let me see if I can distinguish it between shorts and videos. Filters. We do shorts. How do you do type video? No, short. Under 4 minutes. All right, here's one of them.
War all over the world.
Okay, we're going to continue to monitor this ceremony at the Kennedy Center. And let me just explain what just happened. What just happened was that the president of FIFA.
I don't even know if that's PG.
Sorry. But there's a few of them on. Let me see if I can find the British guys because they were hilarious. If not, I'll have to dig back in my my history there. Because there was a couple good ones. You know, especially with the accent, it was fucking cracking me up. It was absolutely cracking me up. But again, I don't want to waste too much time trying to find the exact ones. Look at just so much horse shit. Just unbelievably embarrassing. Unbelievably embarrassing. Here's one right there. Ready? Check this out. Oh, come on. For crying out loud. Give me a second. Give me a second. Pause.
Like when I was prepping for the show, from a number of my friends telling me to turn on the TV and watch the World Cup draw. It was must-see television. And if you missed it, well, I'm joined by James Hansen, who's just left you this morning, to bring us a little bit of a colour in the flavour of the event, which I have to say was unlike...
He can't even contain himself with how fucking funny he thinks this is and how embarrassing like, he literally can't even contain himself. Like, people were texting him, and this is the overarching theme. This is the overwhelming majority of people that I saw, you know, that had videos that would just happen to be doing live streams about the draw or the coverage or whatever it may be. Overwhelming amount of people were like, what in the fuck is going on right now? What are we watching? What are we watching? and I just, again, just a little bit of the reaction. And then again, for anybody that hasn't seen it, we'll play a little bit of the clip.
Any World Cup draw I've ever seen before.
It was absolutely bonkers. I mean, like you, I thought I'm going to watch it, largely because I'm a football fan and I wanted to see who England would be drawn against, like most people watching. Scotland, of course, also in there for the first time in many years. And yet, first of all, it went on for about 2 hours. You think, how long does it take to draw a few balls out of a pot? But also, it became this farcical Trump show, as everything involving the US president does. I mean, we had his favourite band. We had the Village People closing the show. That says it all. And then we also had the absurd spectacle. I mean, really, who says satire is dead? Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, awarding the first ever FIFA Peace Prize to Donald Trump.
Mr. President, this is you.
I just can't get over their reactions. Like, it's like stunned horror, right? They're just like, they knew it was bad in the United States, but I guess they just didn't understand how bad it was, or like the fucking depths in which people are willing to sink in order to appease Donald Trump, or to, you know, to gain financially, to profit financially from getting one over on him. Like, they're just in utter fucking disbelief that this is going on.
Your prize, this is your Peace Prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
I'm gonna wear it right now.
Okay, let me hold. Fantastic.
And again, this from the fucking side that would in an instant be the first people to give you shit about participation trophies, right? The kid that comes in last, but you give him a trophy because he tried. Well, you showed up, kid. Good job. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going on here. Like, okay, let's just fucking just give him something shiny and gold. Stick a ribbon on it. We'll call it a Peace Prize. He'll love it. He'll throw a ton of dough at us. We'll be able to get anything we want in the upcoming fucking, you know, World Cup. It'll be the easiest thing ever. And he falls for it hook, line, and sinker. And people watching this that aren't used to it, right? Like, not me, not you, not people that see this on a daily basis, where this is just kind of like, yep, that's our fucking, That's our degenerate, corrupt president right there. Yep. Other people are like, holy shit. Like I turned on the fucking telly for some football. Like I thought I was going to see a draw, and somehow I was transported to this like beyond reality Trump show fucking rally. Like that's what they got. And they're just not as used to it as we are, right?
Excellent.
They literally invented a peace prize to give to the man who is angry he hasn't got the Nobel Peace Prize, despite the fact he might be about to go to war with Venezuela.
Yeah.
You literally couldn't make it up. And you also think, if you were Donald Trump, would you not almost be...
It's beyond parody at this point. And I know. And it's like, on one hand, you're like, oh, it's not funny. It's fucking incredibly dangerous. But again, on the other hand, if you don't laugh, you'll just cry yourself to sleep all the time, right? So it's just like, it's funny seeing people finally come to the realization, like to see what we see on a daily basis and call outright fucking and abject insanity, right? They're just like, okay, how is this real life? Like, wow, what's going on? Yeah.
Would you not see through this very transparent attempt to buy your favor? Because this is an invented Peace Prize. This is not the, very prestigious Nobel Peace Prize. They have just made this up.
He looks so happy.
He loved it.
Gold-plated or gold-painted. I don't think it's gold-plated. This gold-painted sort of object, which actually looks either like a chubby version of Donald Trump is what I actually first thought it was. It was some bizarre cartoon. But he looks so pleased.
And a medal that they hung around his neck, and they had this videotape about how he's solved 7 wars and all this kind of stuff.
We saved millions and millions of lives.
Just a petulant child. A petulant child that can be bought like with an ease that's almost fucking undescribable, right? Show him something shiny, show him something gold, tell him he does a great job, tell him he's the best, and you're set, right? As long as you don't cross him, as long as you don't come after him or, fucking complain about anything that he's doing, this guy here, FIFA, you'll be all set. You should be able to get anything you want. And this tracks for people like, oh, shame on FIFA. Shame on FIFA. No, this is fucking right on line with FIFA. FIFA is a shit organization. They have been for a long fucking time. So this tracks. This is right on fucking track with what FIFA would definitely be in line with and want to do here. But just a couple of minutes of this, them laughing and kind of in shock at this fucking this sideshow, this circus here.
Congo is an example. Over 10 million people killed, and it was heading for another 10 million very quickly. And it just, the fact that we could do that, India, Pakistan, so many different wars that we're able to end, in some cases a little bit before they started, just right before they started. It was going to be late.
He ended the war before the war started.
But we got them done.
It was absolutely farcical. But what it goes to show is, first of all, how FIFA presidents for many years now, going back to Sepp Blatter, who was Gianni Infantino's predecessor, have had to be politicians first and foremost. They act almost like leaders of G7 nations. And also how much this World Cup next year is not only going to be the biggest ever in terms of the number of teams taking part, 48 for the first time, biggest ever in terms of the amount of global eyeballs that will be on it, but also it will be the Trump show. I mean, he will be a massive presence.
We should talk a little bit about the draw. England get Croatia again.
So then they go on to further talk about, which was kind of a confusing draw even in and of itself, where each leader kind of picked its own country, which people were kind of astonished at. Again, above and beyond the whole Trump insane circus sideshow, freak show that they tried to fucking display there with, again, a fake, made up, created out of whole cloth Peace Prize from a soccer organization that is known for its brutality, especially when we talk about the World Cup there in Qatar and the stadiums that were built and how they fucking, trucked in immigrants and how they were housed and beaten and died building the stadiums there. I mean, that's just, one of the instances, one of the examples that we could point back to, again, trying to give people examples of just how kind of the FIFA organization handles itself. And how this is, right on par, right on track with what they were, what you would think this fucking organization would be capable of. But yeah, you can see the reaction from other people. And again, if you search, if you search YouTube, if you search, just the internet in general, and you find different responses from that, you'll find different kids and, different soccer fans from all over the world. What I said, Scotland, Ireland, Italy, fucking all over the place, reacting to what they were watching in real time, the insanity. And you can see the look on their faces. You can see them laughing with their friends. You can see them the utter insanity of it all wash over their face. And that's exactly what we've been dealing with here since, what is it, 2015, even before that, when he was trying to interject himself into politics. So fucking, it's good to see other people finally start to realize the insanity of it all. And this is what we talk about when we call out Donald Trump, where he's like, yeah, everybody in the world loves us. They respect us. They think we're the hottest country. Well, I'm showing you reactions from people all over the world, and it doesn't seem like they're laughing with you, sir. They're laughing at you. They're directly laughing at you. All right, next. We go on to the MAGA Civil War. And please hit that like button, guys. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I really do appreciate it. So far, we've kind of gone over the new aspects learned from the January 6th pipe bomber and his, Trump-supporting nature. And then we've been talking about the blatant areas of corruption right in front of your face. Don Jr.'s almost $1 billion in government contracts that he's received. And in particular, the $620 million contract from the Pentagon that Pete Hegseth is now just siphoning our government money, our taxpayer money, to the Trump family in order to gain him some favor so he doesn't get fucking fired because of these Venezuelan boat strikes, if you ask me. But, nobody did. So, all right, let's dive into this next story here because, again, we've been discussing this and trying to make this as visible, as widely known as humanly possible. This rift, this MAGA civil war that's been going on, especially leading up to and going into midterms, and how worried they now are about the status of their party, and how the infighting going on, and how they don't have that coalition of MAGA commentators that were all in lockstep to get the same fucking talking points, the same agenda notes down from this, from the administration to do their dirty work. Now they're all focused on different shit. They're all trying to, scrape and claw and peel for whatever scraps were left behind after Charlie Kirk's murder, or, trying to fight for, whatever they see as power being filtered down from, Donald Trump's, lack of grip. Like, he's losing grip on the MAGA base. So now these MAGA commentators are trying to scoop up people left and right, and they're all kind of clawing at each other's faces now, trying to get it done. But Candace Owens has really kicked shit off. Obviously we've been reporting on it a lot here, but she's back at it again. She's now come out with, I think it was a recent video talking about how she has pretty clear evidence, talking about who killed Charlie Kirk. And people like Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, they're not happy about it. They're not happy with the rift it's creating. They're not happy with the waves. They're not happy with the way that the party is now set up going into what is an important midterms. So, yeah, this is Tim Pool. Actually, this is a secular talk. This is from Crystal and Kyle, and talking about this. And then we'll look at the Tim Pool clip, and then we have a majority report clip from this too, Sam and Emma talking about this same kind of thing. So we'll hear from Candace from the majority report, and then we'll hear from Tim Pool here from Crystal and Kyle. So let's dive into this. This is, again, just to highlight the ongoing MAGA civil war that is literally tearing these MAGA commentators apart. People that were, again, in lockstep, tight as fucking you could be, with the talking points, fucking you name it, and they were on the same page. Not anymore, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's dive into it. Let me get this on the screen. Excuse me. Let me get this on the screen. Put this at the beginning, and away we go.
War. Of course, you have Tucker and.
Zach, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Sorry. And again, just to let everybody know, I know we've reached 15,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. We were over it, and then we were under it. I think hopefully at this point we're over it past enough where we can kind of, congratulate everybody on the success, congratulate everybody for the support of the show. Thank you, Paul, for your contributions. But anybody that is just joining us, just watching the show for the first time and has made a contribution, if I don't see it go by in the chat live, stick around to the end of the show, because I always make sure to highlight anybody that sent in a Venmo, anybody that sent in a super sticker, super chat, hit a milestone, whatever it may be. Stick around to the end. I give you your dues. I give you your highlights. I'll give you your shout out. So just want to make that known for anybody that's new. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody that's new, subscribing to the channel. Again, it's a huge milestone that I think a lot of people take for granted. 10,000, 15,000. Those first young number, those goals, those first young goals that you hit as a channel are very important and very difficult to reach. So I really do thank you guys. All of your support, all of your contributions have helped get us there. The mods have been absolutely fantastic. I've been lucky enough to be blessed with, mods that are not only loyal, but they're smart, they're funny, they're engaging. They love doing what they do and they're good at what they do. So thank you guys, all of you guys. So let's dive into this. I appreciate it. Again, the ongoing MAGA Civil War, as told by Crystal and Kyle. They're going to just go in and play some of Tim Pool's comments, and then we'll dive into Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland from the Majority Report talking about Candace Owens' part in this whole thing. So let's dive into it.
Nick Fuentes and Candace are roughly on one side. The other side, you have like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro. Even Trump himself, you could kind of say, is more on their side, at least in terms of policy.
Yeah, true.
But somebody who's got in on the fun lately is Tim Pool. And he already sort of aggressively went after Candace. And honestly, I really think it comes down to he's jealous that she now is getting all the views. She's sucking up all the views like a vacuum on the right.
Yeah.
And that could very well be what's leading some of these people to go after Candace as well. They might, honestly agree with some of the things that she's saying, but because of the incredible view numbers that she's had and seen, and it's dropped off a little bit because it was almost fucking astronomical at one point. She was getting something like 200,000 live viewers or something like that. It was wild at one point. I don't know what she's getting today, but this could very well, because a lot of these right-wing commentators have seen their views drop off. And I think in one of these clips, Tim actually talks about, I think he says views per minute or clicks per minute or whatever he references is down. But, you can obviously tell whose is up, and obviously Candace Owens is one of those people. I think at one point, if not now, she has the #1 podcast in the country. I know that kind of shifts from week to week and goes back and forth between a few of those different podcasts, but, hers is always in the running, which, a lot of people have taken notice of.
And, he did this whole thing about like, views are down in politics. And it's like, for you guys, because you were all Trump meat riders.
Yeah.
You were meat munching for years, and that finally caught up to you because the movement crashed into the rocks. You know, like nobody wants to hear your shit anymore. So Candace was smart enough to hop off Trump's Johnson earlier than he did, right?
Yeah.
And I think he's still on Trump's Johnson, which is wild. I need to stop saying
I'm
Johnson.
going to go into I'll go into the Tim's clips here. Here we go.
I'm going to grab one super chat that just came in before we jump to the next story. And it's Huey says, Tim, I work in construction and experienced the same thing. My coworkers are all in on the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. If the Republicans lose in the midterms, I believe that Candace Owens is wholly responsible. She is one of the biggest podcasts on the right, doing everything to go to war with the organization that helped get Trump elected.
So Tim Pool now seeing the writing on the wall, as does, a lot of these other MAGA commentators. A few of them that we talk about on the show have already mentioned how difficult the position is going to be for the Republicans going into midterms, with not only the infighting, but what's going on with the Epstein files, what the factions that are now anti-Israel and pro-Israel in the MAGA base or in the Republican base or conservatives in general, right? So they have a lot working against them before they even look towards the Democrats, before they even, have an opportunity to attack a Democratic policy or a Democratic politician, right? This is all infighting. This is all before they even step out of their own territory. They have shit to fix. And Tim Pool's now noticing it, and he's trying to already do this, pull the blame game and, kind of already give excuses for the loss in the midterms that he's expecting to come, right? So he's going to say here, if we get our asses kicked in the midterms, we know who we can blame it on. Basically, it's Candace Owens because she has these theories on who was behind the murder of Charlie Kirk. Again, just totally not referencing, totally, being blind to the fact that the Epstein files are a huge problem. Tariffs, the economy, what's happened with farmers, in this country, what's going on with ICE in this country, foreign policy, right? Just totally negating all of those other facts and trying to boil it down to, just the fact that Candace Owens has, stirred shit up on the right, which is asinine and clearly gives them the ability to put the blame all on Candace Owens without acknowledging the policies that got him in this position in the first place.
Turning Point specifically was going out and registering people to vote. Without Charlie, it's in trouble. Turning Point needs to be able to go out and rally young people and register them to vote. And she's doing everything she can to destroy that. And that is going to, I suppose, it's going to rip out the coffers on the right. There is no organization like Turning Point.
And they're all worried about it because Turning Point, heavily funded by billionaires, ton of fucking money flowing through the coffers at Turning Point. So if they lose this organization, which is another reason why Benjamin Netanyahu was so quick to come out, right? He was so quick to come out and talk about how he and Charlie were friends and backing up this and that and talking about Turning Point, because he sees the ability of Turning Point to go and recruit the young people, and he knows how important it is, especially if he's trying to propagandize people, how it's important to get to them early. If you get to them early and often, if you can get to them through Turning Point, TikTok. We played the video on here where Netanyahu was talking about how we need to flood the system, and he's talking about Twitter and getting their propaganda out on there and buying fucking creators if they had to, and getting people on their side. We talked about it here. Well, that's what the same thing, right? This is the same exact thing that's going on here.
Or else that has the resources and the reach. And without Charlie, I'm not sure that they can make it. But I can tell you this, Candace lighting a Molotov and throwing it through the window is not helping. And it's the most demoralizing thing ever. Additionally,
it's the most demoralizing thing ever. Not the fact that the guy you supported, not the fact that the guy that you voted for twice is in the Epstein files and is protecting pedophiles from accountability, right? And completely, making sure that the victims in this case don't see, their attackers and their abusers see justice. Like, that's not, but that's okay. That's weird.
The fucking cowards on the right who are too scared to say anything about her. Because she tweets at me talking shit or whatever, and then a bunch of people come and flood our chat. I could give a single flying fuck.
Tim, what are your view counts? What are your view counts been doing? I know I keep forgetting the name of the website. There's a website where you can kind of, go and see the facts and the figures on different people's channels and whether or not they're growing or not growing, or subscriber base and view counts and stuff. But this is obviously not his channel, so I can't take a look at that. I forgot. Yeah, that's my fault. But I'd be curious to see if, his view count has dropped off and he's now taking this opportunity to attack Candace Owens for that. His paycheck hasn't been as well as it was because Candace Owens is sucking his viewers out of there. I don't know. Or if he's really upset about the midterms, I have a hard time believing that too.
You can come and you can burn everything I have to the ground, and I will happily live in a van down by the river. I don't care to be number one. I don't need to be number one. What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And she is a fucking scumbag. Okay.
Wow.
And she's getting worse every day. And she crossed the line. She continually crosses the line every day, insinuating that Turning Point literally killed the guy who made them all rich. And I hear this in the streets, and at a certain point, I'm like, holy shit, we're going to lose the midterms.
Okay. All right. So again, is he seeing the writing on the wall? Is it both, perhaps? Maybe he's seeing the writing on the wall, and on the other hand, he's still mad that, she's kind of soaking up all of these views, and he's not as popular as he once was. And he's kind of using that as his justification to be so angry.
Lose the midterms, then we're going to lose in 2028, and it's because she's a piece of shit. Because
I'm sorry. I mean, as big as her fucking podcast is, if you get your ass kicked in the midterms and then you get your ass kicked in 2028, like you absolutely should, and like we absolutely are working towards, then you're not going to be able to blame it on Candace Owens. I'm sorry. You're not. When we're fucking murdering, people in cold blood, in the Caribbean Sea, again, the fucking busting of the economy, lying to the American people about lowering costs. Again, we could go down the entire list, rounding up American citizens, rounding up people's family members. Again, the whole fucking the 27-page report that we have of ammunition of opposition research against Donald Trump. You could list every single one of those facts and figures right now. Again, that would be like, nah, I guess you can't put it all on Candace Owens. You can be mad about it if you want, I guess. You can say that it maybe had some effect on, advancing the MAGA civil war, or, having it, be quicker, like speeding it up a little bit. But there's definitely no way in which you could deny the Epstein files. No way in which you could deny the fact that he's cuddling up to Putin and ignoring our allies, which we'll get into. Which one was that? I think it was Yeah, we got this one too, because we'll also be talking about Trump's new national security plan as well. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the show, but if I did, I want to make sure that we get in, I'll let you know that we're going to get into that as well. But yeah, here we go. Tim Pool, just, again, I love seeing him so frustrated, and I love seeing it be coming from his own side, right? So he's so frustrated right now, and it has nothing to do with Democrats, a Democratic policy, Democratic politicians, nothing about woke or whatever the fuck, or Mondani, nothing. This is all coming from his own house. This is all coming from his own home, his own people, and he just can't fight his way out of that fucking wet paper bag. He's just not strong enough to do it. Not strong enough to do it, but he is. I will give him credit. I will give him credit for recognizing the fact that this is going to have a big impact on the Republican electorate and the polling numbers and the midterm results for the Republican Party. That I will give him credit for recognizing. Again, whether or not he actually cares about that, because I think Tim realizes he's most popular, he's at his best when he's attacking the people in power, right? So if it was a Democrat president, and, that's when these MAGA commentators are pretty much at their most popular. But, we'll see. It remains to be seen. But let's see what else. Let's go on.
Instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest, retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken. For what reason? For literally
divided and broken. I love that. I love that. Can we just get a moment of silence? A moment of silence for the divided and broken MAGA base. I'm sorry. All right, that's good enough. That's good enough. All right, divided and broken. And that's not me. Again, that's not a liberal, leftist, progressive talking about and describing the MAGA base that way. That is Tim fucking Pool, Dim Drool, talking about the MAGA base that way. Broken and disconnected.
what reason? Now, guess what? I'm not on the best of terms with Turning Point either. In case you didn't remember, they didn't invite us this year, and it's become a big thing.
I love it. So not only is he feuding with Candace Owens, right, and trying to defend Turning Point, but on the other hand, he's feuding with Turning Point too. He's doing all this work to try to bash Candace Owens on behalf of Turning Point, to try to, again, defend Turning Point. And Turning Point turned around and said, no, we're not even going to invite you to. Let me see what this thing was, because I think I had this pulled up earlier too. I'm not sure what the event was. Let me see if I can find this, because it was, I think, on his YouTube channel. Yeah, let me see. Because I don't know if it was just some like regular event that he normally went to that he wasn't invited back to, but I think he made a video about it. We don't have to get into it. I just want to see the headline. Let me see. I'll share this tab instead. But you had Slams, Daily Wire. Let's see. Venezuela, Underground Counter. I know he says something about it. I remember seeing it. Let's see. Conservatives, Federalists, Democrats to this. Civil War 13 days ago. Maybe it was on Rumble. But he does mention it somewhere where he's pretty mad about the fact that Turning Points didn't invite them back. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I can find it on Rumble. Just go real quick. Like I said, I just want to show you the headline. We won't look at the video or anything like that. Bear with me for a sec. I'm pretty sure he has a headline about it, if I'm not mistaken. Tim Cast, whatever it is, videos. All right, stop sharing. Grand jury feminist plane, Gen Z. Trump cancels immigration, fraud, Somalia. Where was I looking? 3 Irishmen, Democrats, Joe Rogan, Civil War. Yeah, I won't waste too much time, but I know I saw it in one of his platforms that I was looking at. Was it Alive? Trump dunks, knockout boat, media melts, Democrat, MAGA base, gangs order. No, those are all a month ago. Holy crap. All right. Well, again, I won't waste your time, but you take my word for it. He's not too happy about what's going on with Turning Point. Maybe it was on that one? Oh, that's Rumble. Go back to YouTube and see if I can find it live. If it's not in his lives, then don't worry about it. Let's see here. Woke affected goth, MAGA, Civil War, insanity, identity, politics. Boy, I think it's on this one. Because because he's big mad about it. I think he was talking about it in one of his in the middle of one of his shows. But you'll get the idea here from him anyway.
Or whatever. I have nothing. I can say I know what they are. I know what they do, and I'm glad they do it. And if we don't get along, so be it. I don't know that they make it without Charlie, whatever. But what?
So he doesn't have a friend in this. Like, he has no fucking friend in this fight. Turning Point don't want him. Candace Owens don't fucking want him and need him. So he's kind of floating out there on his own, right? Floating out there on his own. So he's doing all this work to try to defend Turning Point. And that's why he's now trying to, throw these backhanded fucking jabs at them where, like, I don't know if they're going to make it without Charlie. I don't know if they can do it. If they had just invited me to this thing, then they might have had a better shot. But now that they didn't, haven't they seen all my videos attacking Candace Owens on their behalf? I love it.
What is the purpose of intentionally fanning the flames for 3 endless months of just nonstop retard shit? Candace, holy crap. Initially in the beginning, she brought up some interesting things. New photos had emerged, and I said, wow, I even said this to Andrew.
And my apologies for his language, obviously, anybody that may be offended by what he's saying. But my intent is to show how angry and upset he is at both the fact that Candace Owens is stealing his views, stealing his fans, causing this rift in MAGA, and also at the same time, all the work that he's done to try to defend not only Charlie Kirk and Turning Points and the people that work there, but now Turning Points has turned around and not invited him to some show, some event that, from what I'm gathering, Tim Pool was typically and normally invited to. So he's been left off the list this time, and it doesn't seem too happy about it. And now he's kind of realizing that he doesn't have a friend out there, or at least too many friends, right? He doesn't have as many friends as he thought he did.
At Turning Point at the beginning of October. Now she's at the point where it is video after video where she's saying it's an inside job. She's saying there's a video of the dude, Mikey McCoy, grabbing his phone and making a phone call, and she's acting like that's weird. And then you get this other guy.
We played that, actually. We actually played Tim Pool covering Candace Owens, covering that. Like, it's gotten deep. It's gotten deep, folks. And again, if you're just joining us, if you just joined us somewhat recently, you can go back in the old archive, the old playlist on some of the Tim Pool shows that we've done, and you can check out some of these clips that, he's referencing here we've actually played and looked at on the show. And I believe the one he's talking about here is the guy that had his phone out, didn't really seem to flinch, or this is at least Candace Owens' view on what she saw. It didn't really seem to flinch, went right back on the phone, didn't hang up the phone type of thing, and she thought it was strange. Tim Pool had his own thoughts on the matter, and they've been going back and forth ever since.
It's claiming that the business is a parking lot. Well, he full well knows businesses can be registered anywhere. To be fair, it's not only just Candace and saying what she's saying. It is all of these people who are like piranhas ripping the right to.
And you can see this one too, because I don't know. Oh, did I not leave it up? Oh, I might not have left it up. But there was another right-wing channel that we hadn't taken a look at before. Oh, here it is right here. So this is Liberty Lockdown. And again, this is Candace Owens versus Tim Pool explodes over Charlie Kirk assassination conspiracy. So again, just to show you that other people inside of this atmosphere, this society of commentators, of MAGA YouTube channels, whatever it may be, lesser known. I think this one has 52,000 subscribers, right? So not a tiny channel by any means, but obviously one that is lesser known than Tim Pool, Candace, Penny Johnson, but even they're picking up on this. It's becoming more widespread. We've talked about, what was the other one there? Viral Purge or something. We take a look at VFT there, the Valhalla guy, a lot. So, it's starting to pick up momentum. It's starting to be talked about a lot more by people that are not Democrats, by people that are not leftists, progressives, liberals, right? By their own people. So you can tell it's becoming more and more prominent, more and more prevalent with the people that they're speaking to, their friends, their family, their online spaces, that this battle is getting bigger, right? That this feud is happening, whether it's, Nick Fuentes trying to interject his America first, above and beyond the MAGA base now, like trying to give MAGA somewhere else to flow to now that they see, the cracks forming, now that they see Donald Trump, kind of withering away before their eyes, now that they see Donald Trump associated with the Epstein files, or now that they see Donald Trump coddling up to Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever it may be, whatever brought him to that area, whatever brought him to watching Nick Fuentes, he's now trying to replace MAGA with America First. and he's captivated some of these YouTube channels, some of these commentators, some of these creators that were heavily known to be influenced and involved in the MAGA base. So they're now flowing away from MAGA, some of them towards Candace Owens, some of them towards Nick Fuentes, right? They're all finding new homes, which is why a lot of these people are trying to suck up the scraps. They're seeing the scraps happening right in front of them, and they're doing everything they can. Nick Fuentes, again, with the blue hat, America First, seeing the fucking writing on the wall with Donald Trump. Candace Owens, seeing the writing on the wall with the people that were typically involved with Turning Point and Charlie Kirk. The people that are aggrieved with Donald Trump, coddling up to Israel and allowing Benjamin Netanyahu to get away with so much. The people that, aren't happy with him being involved in the Epstein files or that aren't happy with him not releasing the Epstein files. So there's a lot of people that are now looking for new homes, and that's creating this like unstable society on the right. And they're all recognizing that pretty much in real time. So that's why we like to cover this. That's why I think it's important to highlight this, make sure that everybody knows this is not to say, okay, let's sit back and do nothing and they're going to implode and, we don't have to worry about anything. This is saying that we need to continue to keep our fucking foot on the gas to make sure that whatever we're doing now continues to work and whatever we're doing now continues to go on in the future, and that we again continue to highlight the messes that are in the party, continue to highlight the policies that are negatively impacting the families of and people in this country. All that stuff is going to be important. So that's why we do it. All right, let's jump into hearing what Candace had to say. And again, this is from the Majority Report, Sam and Emma. We're not going to be watching Candace's channel. I'm not going to be adding on to her fucking view count. I can tell you that much, unless it's 100% necessary and we can't find the clip anywhere else. But lucky enough, we have some fantastic people in this space, in the old media space. And again, we'll let them get into a little bit of the commentary, and then we'll let them get into a little bit of the clip. But this is Candace Owens. This is what pretty much triggered the new videos here by Tim Pool and others that you'll probably be seeing again if you are involved in watching any of this bullshit. But again, a lot of you people just allow me to do it. This is why I go through all this. That's why I watch Tim Pool and Candace Owens and RSBN and Newsmax and OAN and all this horse shit, so that you guys don't have to, and that we could break it down in digestible sections, but you guys can still get the information. All right, let's dive into it again. Sam and Emma from the Majority Report. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you. And this is their coverage of Tim Pool, Candace Owens, and the little feud that they've been going through here.
Tim Pool, who last we checked is not a partisan, according to him, right? And he's an anti-war, sort of more libertarian. But here he is, apparently, he's very mad at Candace Owens because she's harming the Republicans' midterm plans by doing this.
The more I hear the more I hear that excuse, the dumber it sounds, right? The more insane it becomes. Again, everything that we can list that people are fucking frustrated about, both inside this country and outside of this country, and they're going to try to pin the midterm loss again, fucking fingers crossed, hopefully, toes crossed, legs crossed, everything's crossed, knock on wood, we get it in the victory in the midterms. But, say that happens, they're going to be able to blame it on Candace Owens is just absolutely asinine, and just burying your head in the sand just like nobody's ever seen before.
And it feels like Tim Pool's just trying to stay relevant by getting into this. So I don't know. Here's Candace Owens talking about Tim Pool.
28, and it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken. For what reason? For literally what reason?
Because they killed Charlie Kirk in broad daylight, and we don't care about your stupid midterms. We just don't care. Like, they really, this is how they view Charlie Kirk. That's why I say, was anything in his life real?
I mean, she is kind of going scorched earth. I mean, not to give anything that Tim Pool says lend it any credit or whatever, but she is absolutely kind of saying in her own words that she is going scorched earth. I mean, that was pretty evident from the outlandish conspiracy theories that we heard right off the jump, and how willing she was to call out, people that she had long-lasting relationships with, both inside Turning Point and other commentators inside of this, inside of the space there. But I mean, she's saying, I don't give a fuck about your midterms, right? She's dead set on the fact that this was an inside job, whether it was somebody inside of the Trump administration, whether it was somebody affiliated with Israel, whether it was somebody affiliated with France. She's not sure, I don't think. But, she's sure that it was an inside job somehow. So she's willing to burn it all down. She's willing to say, fuck, I don't give a shit about your midterms. I'm going to expose everybody. And that's really shaking the boots off of people like like Tim Pool and Benny Johnson and all these other people. It's definitely not shaking the boots off of Charlie. I don't think he's wearing boots right now.
Tim Pool is going off right now because he's like, it's not the time. You guys need to be mules. You need to keep voting in the very corrupt people that are lying to your faces right now about what happened to Charlie Kirk. It is not the time because it is
maybe that's what the award was for Trump. Is that what the award was? Did they award him for having the only neck on earth that is uglier than Charlie's now looks? No, maybe. Maybe that was a possibility. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right. I'll go back into it.
Job to get people into office. This is what I mean when I suggest that nothing in Charlie Kirk's life was real. So he really thinks he's doing something there. And actually what he's doing is proving my point. These people just saw Charlie as a means to an end.
And by these people, I mean, she could almost interject and replace these people with Donald Trump and anybody affiliated with Donald Trump, right? Because, we've talked about this before, how much time, resources, energy Charlie Kirk dedicated to, getting, MAGA out there to the young fucking masses, to holding these rallies, to holding these events, to making sure that Donald Trump was popular or elected, trying to, again, campaign for Donald Trump, all of that. And what did Donald Trump do right after Charlie's death when he was asked about Charlie's death? I think he talked about it for about 0.3 seconds, and he went straight on to talking about his ballroom. Straight on to talking about his ballroom. And I don't know if that was, I don't know where in the timeline that was exactly with Candace Owens' conspiracy theories, but it definitely didn't go and help. It didn't do anything to help prove the case that Donald Trump actually cared about what had happened to Charlie Kirk, right? So, just another a bullet point in this story, in this crazy saga that's been going on.
As a political horse that they could ride. And so for whatever reason, they got tired riding him. And now they're angry because they also were going to whip the horse, the ghost of Charlie Kirk, and say, we still need you to shore up votes. And it is inconvenient that people who actually cared about Charlie and saw him as a, I don't know, human being want to know why he was publicly executed in front of us and why we're being lied to about everything. That is why Tim Pool is upset, because midterms, it's going to be my fault, not the fault of the feds for feeding us BS. It's not going to be the fault of Turning Point USA.
She is out of her fucking mind. She is absolutely out of her fucking mind. But I do appreciate the fact that she is acting like a wrecking ball right now. And going in and doing the deed to the MAGA fucking base. I will absolutely use it. I will use her as long as she is useful, but she is absolutely almost as dangerous as she is useful in this period of time. And we need to make sure that we continuously point that out and make sure people understand that, regardless of the popularity of her podcast, regardless of the numbers that she does, she is out of her fucking gourd.
For lying and thinking that they're brighter than us and seemingly not caring about the investigation. It's not going to be the fault of, I don't know, maybe actual politicians like Donald Trump, who's a president of the United States, and look us in the face and said, are we still talking about the Epstein files? No, that's not his fault. The fault is Candace Owens.
Right. She's right there, though. She's crazy as a bed bug, wacky as a witch's tit, right? But she is fucking right. You know what I mean? To say that it's going to be my fault that Donald Trump is affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein, and to say that it's my fault that Donald Trump said it was a Democrat hoax, this thing that we've been fucking looking at and talking about and seeing evidence of for decades now, right? To say that it's my fault that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi all went in there telling people that the first thing that they were going to do when they got in there was release the Epstein files and hold people accountable. And then all of a sudden it went poof and gone and done, right? So to say that it's my fault that Donald Trump said he was going to lower your prices, he was going to, make the cost of living a lot more affordable, not the words that he used, but, in his own fucking lies, told everybody that the price of groceries and gas and heating and all that was going to come down in 24 hours. when we've seen it do nothing but steadily increase, right? I mean, all of these things that we could put together like we always do. Again, talk about ICE, talk about foreign policy. You talk about what's happening with the fucking farmers. A million different things that we can talk about. Venezuela, Mexico, fucking the whole fucking shebang. To be able to sit here and be like, yep, you know what? None of that matters. And it was all Candace's fault because she thinks there was something fishy going on with not only the information Kash Patel was putting out with the death of Charlie Kirk, but also with the way, the reaction from the people that supposedly cared most about him, and how they've just, been incredibly fucking quick to move on and try to, utilize and suck the money out of, the thing that Charlie built. Again, what Candace is trying to push here.
For wanting to figure out who murdered her friend. Don't you guys get it? Like, we're just an algorithm. Why do you care so much about humans? Like, why are you a human? Like, if somebody really dies, you need to focus on midterms.
It's funny that she's talking about like humans and humanism as she's outwardly trying to go out there and say that Emmanuel Macron's wife is a dude and has a penis, right? When that's just, I mean, she has children, so that'd be anyway. But for her to come out and be like, treat everybody like a human, treat everybody with respect type of bullshit is so outright and fucking hypocritical of her as she's getting her ass sued off by the Macrons at this moment in time for, again, dehumanizing his wife.
Okay? That is the point of the Tim Pool show. It doesn't matter what you are going through at home. I want you guys to hear this, okay? I don't care if you have family members that are dying.
You can hear everybody at the majority report dying in the background.
Who have died. If you have children that you care about.
Okay, I think we get the point. I mean,
Tim Pool cares too much about electoralism. Candace Owens is about the movement,
listen,
baby.
I want to say, I think they're both exactly right. I agree with everything that they all say. And I just want to stay here and say, I think they should keep doing this. I think they need to hash this out.
Keep pushing Candace.
I think Candace Owens should keep going. She should follow.
And they're being facetious, right? But they see the advantage of this. They see the benefit of this, right? They see, again, the road being left open when they're fighting with themselves. They're focusing on themselves. Less time they're doing combating and propagandizing and lying about Democratic policies and Democratic politicians and Democratic fucking, commentators or whatever it may be, right? So the more that they're fighting with themselves, the more that they're talking about Trump, Epstein, Israel, Charlie Kirk, then again, that gives us the open space, the open field, to make our move to get our policies and our points across to the people that may have been fucking hearing this white noise about bullshit with Republicans and about Democrats, but really now they're just fighting with themselves. So that again leaves the door open for us, heading into midterms to make sure that we exploit that.
Her
agree they shouldn't care about the midterms.
She should follow her heart. And Tim Pool, who really I think it's good that Tim is finally coming out of the closet and admitting that he's a Republican. Yeah, he's always been a partisan Republican. It's just that he's had a different style of doing it before. And now he's come out and doing it. And listen, in terms of like him being anti-war, didn't he say to you that he was left on war? Well, let's play this because this is a really interesting position to be in.
I don't know where it is, but
this is number 3.
Oh, number 3. Okay.
He came out and he said to you that he was to the left of you
I didn't even actually play the clip. I think they forget to play it, but we'll move on. But you can see how, even larger channels on this space are picking up on how beneficial this could be, how good this is to see them breaking up, fighting with each other. And again, you don't need to be a political commentator. You need to be heavily involved in politics to see that this could be beneficial to the opposition or to the other side when one team is not, again, playing as a team. But yeah, so good to see other people bringing that up as well. And like I said, there was these other channels talking about it. We don't have to look at this, but, I just wanted to make it known that it's not just lefties trying to exploit this, not exploiting it, but trying to highlight this and trying to, make it known. It's also these other channels, MAGA commentators, right-wing commentators, conservative commentators, even if they're not like outright MAGA or, to call themselves Trump supporters, heavily watched by conservatives, heavily watched by Republicans are now hopping on this train, are now talking about it. But that leads us into this national security discussion as well, because I wanted to make sure to dive into this, because Trump has pretty much laid out his intent for our national security, and that is to partner and ally with Russia and to leave Europe, the European Union, basically holding the bag, leaving them basically out in the cold. It's pretty clear on the intentions, and I'll play this CNN clip. They go into a few little details of this new security plan, but again, makes it pretty clear, pretty obvious to everybody that the intent is to partner up and ally economically with Putin, and to, again, not uphold our end of the bargain with our alliedship, with with the agreements that we have signed with our partner Ukraine. So let's dive into this, CNN. I appreciate you guys. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. We're diving into this new national security policy, security plan put out by the Trump administration here.
With the Trump administration's drastic changes to U.S. national security strategy and its very role in the world. The document, which lays out U.S. foreign policy priorities, sounds a clear retreat, stating, quote, the days of the U.S. propping up the entire world order.
All right, so if you just, if you're just listening on the screen, it says U.S. national security strategy, highlights from the new document, and it just kind of gives 3 on the screen right now, and it says the U.S. will no longer be the policeman of the world. The U.S. will no longer be the policeman of the world. Now, clearly, anybody that has the ignorance of writing that into a national security strategy, a national security plan, clearly doesn't know history. Clearly doesn't know the position that the United States was thrust into after World War II, being an economic, being an industrial powerhouse, and also being one of the few fucking nations on the face of this earth that wasn't almost completely fucking destroyed, or at least set back generations by the destruction, the bombing, just the war in general. So again, us being the most powerful, us being the biggest, us being the least damaged, the least affected by the war, thrust us into the position that we've been in ever since, right? We had the biggest Navy. Again, we had the biggest we had the most power, right? We had the most fucking prestige, right? We had the most ability to rule the waves, which again, put us in the position of being quote unquote, the policeman for trade, the policeman for democracy, right? And that is a role that we have had to, uphold since that. We didn't ask for it, but that's what history gave us, right? That's the position that history put America in. And there have been president after president after president to recognize that importance, to recognize the position, and to uphold that strategy, uphold that fucking position. But now the point here being fucking emphasized is that we will no longer be the policeman of the world, which nobody on the planet likes to hear more than corrupt fucking gang members, corrupt politicians, right? Nobody, autocrats, fascists, nobody likes to hear that more. Nobody likes to hear that the United States will no longer be looking at who's stealing what from ships, who's fucking, stopping what trade route, who's slaughtering what population, who's, fucking invading what territory for natural resources. Now they can do whatever they want. They can be free and clear of the thought that the United States, they're going to have to deal with the United States if they act up, right? So it used to be fuck around and find out. Now it's fuck around and keep fucking around is the policy that Donald Trump has just put in place, right? And then it goes on to say nations should be responsible for their own defense. Okay. And to a point, I have absolutely no problem with nations being responsible for their own defense. But then we're just not living in reality, because there are some nations that do not have the funds, the resources, the size, the fucking strength, no matter how much they put in of their own resources into their fucking, into their defense, to defend against a much larger neighbor, a much larger and more powerful country, right? So that's when inevitably people look to the United States for help and support, whether it be through NATO, whatever use, whether it be through treaty or agreements. That's when they look for us, because they have done pretty much everything they can do. And even if they spend every penny they have in their country, it still wouldn't be enough to ensure their safety against, say, the Russian horde, right? Or, name a bad player on the world stage. And if they're bigger than their neighbor, regardless of how much the neighbor spends on national defense, I mean, they could bankrupt themselves, but again, you can only put so many fucking missile defense batteries in and around it, and they're only so effective against a certain type of attack. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then the third point here says the war in Ukraine must end. Again, the war that Donald Trump said he would easily have ended within 24 hours of being elected. Not inaugurated, not when he went into office, but from the 24 hours after he found out that he would be the upcoming president. That's when he said this would be over. So now, how I don't know, fucking 11 months down here from down the line from into his second administration, that's now the third bullet point, or at least being put up on the screen here by CNN, in his new national security strategy. And it goes on.
Like Atlas are over. The message to U.S. allies is that they, quote, must assume primary responsibility for their regions and contribute far more to our collective defense. One might say that
means Putin would love to hear. Putin loves to hear, right? Putin loves to hear that all of these countries now are going to be forced to come out of pocket with more money, even though he knows he can manipulate Donald Trump on the back end, and that money is probably going to be useless, again, if the United States just gives Vladimir Putin everything he wants. That defense money from the European Union, that defense money from NATO, that's going to be a lot more difficult to put into action, a lot more difficult to be put into play, right? If Donald Trump is willing to appease and give Vladimir Putin everything he wants, to allow him back into the G8, to start up this economic fucking partnership, to allow them to rebuild not only their economy, but their military strength as well. Not going to be good.
You, NATO, and Japan, and South Korea, and others. The American priorities in Ukraine now are to end the war fast and to make nice with Moscow, to, quote, reestablish strategic stability with Russia.
And that's, again, if that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. So we got to end the war in Ukraine. Doesn't say anything as far as, they're putting on screen here about ensuring our partnership, ensuring our support, ensuring our defense of the Ukrainian people, considering what they've gone through, considering our partnership, considering our long-lasting fucking, the agreement that we've had where they gave up their nuclear weapons. So now it says on the screen, quote, will reestablish strategic stability with Russia, which is the whole point, which is why Jared Kushner is involved, right? Which is why you see the same shit that's going on with Don Jr. getting a $620 million Pentagon contract. So he's getting $620 million here. Jared Kushner is now involved with economic partnership and stability with Russia. And guess whose fucking family is going to benefit fucking mightily from that? The Trumps. Exactly. You're 100% right. So the U.S. will no longer prioritize the Middle East, and Europe is facing, quote, civilizational erasure. So again, more Mein Kampf type language, more Mein Kampf type rhetoric here, trying to now bring what's going on in the United States into Europe, right? Trying to threaten and pressure Europe to do exactly what ICE is doing now into the United States in Europe, because he says that they have, an immigration problem. They're being destroyed and ruined by immigration. Again, the same thing that built all of these countries is somehow now the same thing that is destroying these countries. And it's not the policies, it's not the behavior, it's not the lack of care shown by politicians, right? It's not money being put in fucking all the wrong places. It's not billionaires getting everything that they want while the working class people all over the world, this is not just the United States now, get fucking shit on, right? Which is why you're seeing the forced immigration that you're now seeing, because of the instability in all these places, because the government doesn't give a fuck about the people, right? And that's on, in different percentages and different wavelengths, to different extents, depending on what country you're talking about. But are we not going to recognize that countries and governments are not doing the right thing for the people, and it's making it more difficult for the people to live their lives? And inevitably, people are now resorting to more drastic measures, more homeless people, more fucking people, living on the streets, even though they work full-time jobs, more people not being able to afford a home, even though they work full-time. More people not being able to afford healthcare even though they work full time. Right? That inevitably leads people to try to find the most viable economic fucking a society that they can, which inevitably leads to migration. But if nothing is set up, if nothing is established in those areas for these immigrants to use and to utilize in order to set up their fucking lives, then it inevitably turns into chaos, right? Society breaks down, and that's of no fault of these people. It's of the fault of the fucking governments all over the world, and especially here in the United States, for not having the proper asylum process, for not having the proper funding put into the right administrations and organizations to help these sort of things, to find people shelter, to find people homes, to get people off the street, to get them food, right? To get them integrated into society, to get them a job, right? If we had more fucking funding in research and billionaires willing to fund things like that, then again, we could turn around all of these situations that's being blamed on immigration right now, which immigration is not the fucking problem. Immigration built these fucking countries. We just had, a better way, unfortunately, it seems like back in the day than we do fucking now. It's just, shit seems to be falling apart at a rapid rate when we talk about governments caring about the people, doing what's right by the people, making, your life more affordable to live, making it easier to do the things that, society asks you to do on a daily fucking basis. But no.
Take note, for Israel and Saudi Arabia and others, the document says that America's reasons for focusing on the Middle East will recede. That's quite a change. And in an attempt to impose a MAGA agenda on Europe, the Trump administration warns Europe it must sharply reduce immigration or face, quote, civilizational erasure due to migration from non-European countries. Joining me now is General Wesley Clark. He is the former NATO Supreme Allied Commander. And General Clark, I imagine your eyes were bulging to some degree as you read this document here. You commanded U.S. forces in Europe at a time when the American approach to the world was quite different than that which is laid out in this document here. What was your reaction to reading it? What does it mean?
First of all, I think it's very consistent with the actions and statements that the Trump administration has made. So I don't think there was any surprise in it. It is a transactional world. It's back to spheres of influence. It sacrifices the magic of America. For 250 years, America has lived the dream that we gave to all of mankind. And we were always a radical power. That is to say, we believed that others should share the benefits of democracy and liberty. And we acted to protect that. This is a retreat from the world, it seems to me. It's a smaller, weaker America. And Jim, I asked myself, why is it? Because somewhere in
this is basically us going back into the same isolationist policies that led us to Pearl Harbor, right? That led us not to not getting involved in World War II until literally we were struck on our own homeland. It's amazing that all of what we've learned since then and everything that we've managed to accomplish, and even if all the things that we've managed to fuck up in that time have not led to us learning anything, right? So now we're trying to go back to the times where we didn't give a fuck what happened in places around the world if it didn't concern us, and we got an ocean in between us, and we're fine here and don't get involved in Europe shit. Like, we saw what that led to. But yet we're willing to make those same mistakes. We're willing to now go back to those same policies that inevitably led us to the position that we're in anyway. Like, makes absolutely fucking no sense. And to see us now, kind of living this history, living this moment in time where we're totally eradicating everything that we've learned, totally eradicating the position that we were put in and thrust into after World War II, and then making it seem like, like we haven't learned anything, like that isolationism is the way to go, and we don't give a shit about supporting democracy around the globe, and we're not going to help people that are being attacked by much larger neighbors. That's basically what this fucking new foreign policy is saying. And again, we're going to put pressure on Europe to stop immigration because they're being erased. Their civilization is being erased, right? like the vermin, like the plague-ridden, disease-ridden people that are coming across the southern border, right? Like the people that were coming in to poison the blood of our country. He is now talking about non-Europeans poisoning the blood of the European fucking civilization. That's what that just meant, right? So when he says this, when this is on the screen here, my apologies, let me see if I can find it. When he says this here, let me put this on the screen. This third point where he says Europe is facing civilizational erasure. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about they're poisoning the blood of the civilization of Europe. Non-Europeans are poisoning the blood of Europeans. And he's now it's now part of United States national security policy to put pressure on Europe because their blood is being poisoned by non-European immigrants. That is now United States policy. That is now part of our national security strategic plan right now. So again, it's pretty fucking clear to see, again, when they talk about what's happening with Russia and Putin, who this is really meant to benefit. And it certainly isn't the United States. It certainly isn't our allies. And it certainly isn't fucking democracy.
Since Stalin and World War II, Khrushchev thought he could do it with putting missiles in Cuba. And so this goes a long way to helping Putin establish dominance over Europe.
And again, this is the former head of fucking NATO forces here talking about how this will directly give Vladimir Putin a boost on the world stage, right? Who this directly benefits. This is not Boston Brian from that fucking little podcast, Blunt Politics, talking about how this benefits Vladimir Putin, and he's always talking about Russia and World War II. No, this is literally the fucking, the top of the top, the head of the head, the guy that fucking was making the decisions at one point, talking about his opinions, how he sees this, and who it benefits.
Not in American interest. We fought 2 world wars to prevent a dictatorship from controlling Europe, and Europe is still our greatest investment partner and trade partner, as this document recognizes. So there's that inconsistency. With respect to China, my personal view, Jim, is that for years we've overinflated the threat of China. Yes, they've got a lot of military forces, but China is not Russia. China is not Putin. Putin wants that.
I don't know. I'd say in one aspect they are very much like Russia. Right? And probably in more ways than one, but they're very much like Russia because I believe they are the paper tiger that Russia was going into the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, right? Where we're looking on paper, we're looking at fucking, numbers on the page, and we're talking about their strength, as a military. On paper is one thing, but when you see it in action, totally different fucking thing. So I think what's going on, and we talked about this on Blunt Politics, about how I kind of have a similar feeling about China, right? Where we're talking about, their Navy, the ships, the aircraft carriers that they have. We look at some of their training fucking videos where I think a lot of people are too willing to give them far too much credit. And not to say that they're not a powerhouse, not to say that it's not an absolute fucking threat and a danger, especially, to world security. I absolutely understand that. But we don't want to be the people that were talking about how bold and powerful and strong the Russian military was when they were coming out with fucking, dry tires and, dry rotted tires that were popping over the fields and, tanks that have no ERA on them. They were filled with fucking rubber. And we've heard all the stories about the equipment failures and how that went down. Very much how I look at the at least a large portion of the Chinese military, right? They seem strong on paper. They seem fucking a lot stronger if you look at the numbers and you just started looking at the papers. But then once you see them in action, you see the training, you see the equipment in the ships that they actually consider their fucking navy. Then it's a totally different story.
Empire back. China has a bargain with its own citizenry. You submit to authoritarianism and we'll make you whole and wealthy. And so I think that the United States can work in Asia with China. I think that as long as Putin's in power in Europe, in Russia, we're going to have to be there in Europe and be strong.
And I mean, you're hearing it there first. As long as Vladimir Putin is in power in Russia, the United States is going to need to have a strong presence in Europe, a strong presence in defending Ukraine, a strong presence in supporting Ukraine, right? You're hearing it here first. Again, General Clark talking about fucking, how important this is, what he sees in this new policy, who it's going to benefit. I'm just relaying the message. This is, again, somebody that has much more experience, much more knowledge, a vast ability to read the people that are now involved in this fucking game. He's known them. He's studied them, right? That was his fucking job. So again, just letting you know what everybody else sees in this. Just blatantly fucking, again, siding with Russia, again, blatantly trying to appease and benefit Russia while putting pressure on not only Ukraine, but also our European allies and partners. All right, so continuing on with our coverage here of what's going on in Ukraine, I just wanted to show you again the country that's supposed to be engaged in these peace talks, right? The country that Steve Witkoff said in his emails, he totally believed that Russia was the only side looking for a peace, right? Or seriously willing to negotiate peace, I should say. Let me put this on the screen here. But just hours after speaking about peace, let's talk about the ongoing strikes that Russia enacts on Ukraine to, again, to show us that they're not actively, seriously engaged in peace talks. That is not their goal. They're not willing to give any fucking quarter to Ukraine. They're not willing to give up any of the fucking the points that the European Union or NATO put in there, that we were talking about these different peace plans. It's just not happening. And again, the more that Donald Trump talks about partnering up with Russia and bringing them back into the G8 and fucking sending Jared Kushner over there for economic partnership, is just rewarding actions just like this. It's just giving Vladimir Putin more reason to launch strikes like this night in and night out, killing Ukrainian civilians. Again, not attacking justifiable military targets. I think, I guess in this one instance, I think we're talking about here in this one video, a strike on a railway station, which I guess in some way, shape, or form could possibly be justified as a military target. But again, that is the definitely not the overwhelming majority of targets that we've seen used and targeted by Russia. But again, this is just one of the strikes that we're talking about. And again, if you're actively engaged in peace talks, if you're seriously willing to engage in negotiations and talk about peace and not killing anybody else and ceasefires, would this be something that you would continuously carry out on civilians?
In Miami, as you said, after talks in Moscow failed to yield any kind of meaningful breakthrough.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Let me play it from the beginning. It might help.
Russia unleashing yet another massive attack on Ukraine's infrastructure, hitting a railway hub in Kremenchuk in central Ukraine, causing power and water outages just 24 hours after this train station was struck just outside of Kyiv. Russia very much ramping up attempts to cripple the country's transport.
So again,
links.
like I said, train station, possible. Like it's plausible. Like there's an argument for it, at least. But again, the civilian infrastructure to, again, attack fucking the power, the food supply, the water supply, that type of shit, and put the civilians directly in harm's way to punish the civilians, again, is not. That is just, again, attacking schools, attacking hospitals, right? Attacking residential buildings, just in no way, shape, or form can be justified as military targets, right? It's just not fucking possible. Not fucking possible.
And energy supply too. The bombardment continuing as 3 days of peace talks wrap up between the US and Ukraine in Miami, as you said, after talks in Moscow failed to yield any kind of meaningful breakthrough.
And again, just for context, I only talk about the railway stations like that because even when I was in Ukraine, there was a huge security aspect to filming, railway stations, filming different sites, that had that were affiliated with transportation in any way. So they were very, strategic. They're very, secure on what you could film and what you could not film in and around these areas, which is why the only reason I say that there is an argument to be made on, whether or not they are, targets or not. You know what I mean? Not to give any credit or credence to the strikes. Obviously, I'm just, we have to be real when it calls for it.
issues remaining over territory and security guarantees for Ukraine. Now, we heard from President Zelensky saying that he had a phone
Look
call
at
with
the fucking, I mean, just to see Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner involved in this, right? To see them sitting at a table where no representative from Ukraine is sitting and they're fucking trying to hash out a deal that would not only not benefit Ukraine, but overwhelmingly benefit Russia and, Trump's family and Steve Witkoff in particular. Like, it's just so fucking infuriating, so frustrating. It's almost difficult to put into words. It really is.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, saying they had a constructive call covering many aspects to end the bloodshed.
A constructive call. Again, this is what now, 2-3 weeks after it was reported by the mainstream media that a deal was done, right? The peace deal was done, and all we had to do was have Ukraine and Zelensky come over and kind of hash out a few more points and sign the paper, and then we were all set, right? And I was like, well, that doesn't seem like that's right. That doesn't seem like that's true at all. Like, that doesn't seem like what I'm hearing from all the reports that I'm reading, from the video clips that I'm seeing, from fucking Volodymyr Zelensky's mouth himself, from the Ukrainian citizens' mouth themselves. That's not what I'm hearing. So we were rightly skeptical here on Blunt Politics. And again, what are we now? 2 weeks on from that? Again, time has a way of getting jumbled and mumbled and kind of spun together when you're covering this type of stuff. But I mean, it's been quite some time now, and we don't seem any fucking closer. I mean, as much as they love to talk about, great talks, and it was, we had wonderful talks today, and we really moved things along, and I think, things are really trucking. And okay, where's the results? Where are the points that are being negotiated? Where is the point from this plan that we talked about that is no longer there, and we actually revised it to this? Like, where is all that information? Because I don't see that happening. What you would see if like a peace deal or any negotiation was actually taking place that didn't just benefit Russia or Steve Witkoff or Jared Kushner or the Trump family in particular.
The risk of Russia failing on its promises again. Zelensky saying the parties agreed on next steps without giving any real details of what those actually were. Now, next, Zelensky will travel
to... I mean, do you see the point that she just made without giving any without telling us what they were?
On its promises again. Zelensky saying the parties agreed on next steps without giving any real details of what those actually were. Now, next, Zelensky will travel to the UK for talks with European leaders in London. Ahead of those talks, French President Emmanuel Macron, he said we must continue to exert pressure on Russia to compel it to choose peace. Gio.
All right. So again, just to kind of give you the update, a little just to show you exactly where we still lie. Let me see, which one is this? Yeah, this was this goes on to talk about that same thing as well. Let me put this on the screen too. Check this out. There's clearly a big piece of a big bit of ammunition that hit that, right? I mean, that was clearly a pretty destructive piece of fucking ammunition. But let me see here, because there was this one other one that I wanted to take a look at too. Without diving, oh yeah, there was this one I wanted to show you guys as well. Put this on the screen. This is from Forbes. Israeli military continues striking in Khan Yunis in Gaza. Again, as you guys will continue hear about the ceasefire, which is non-existent and ridiculous, considering firing is still going on. But just to keep everybody up to speed. Ceasefire, though, guys. Ceasefire. What you're looking at is a fire caused by firing. But again, ceasefire somehow is still what it's being called. Shame, really is. Really is that fucking we still have people trying to carry the water for the Trump administration trying to fucking make it seem like, what's actually going on out there is anywhere resembling a ceasefire is just asinine. Asinine. All right, let me see if I can find this other clip that I wanted to play for you guys as well. Was it this one? Bear with me, my apologies. I think this one kind of plays a couple clips. Somebody was talking about this in the chat. Let me see if I can play this. Put this on the screen for you guys. And this is, I've had it. They're talking about Erica Kirk and Katie Miller flying off the hinges and next level psychotic rants. But let me see. I think someone was talking about Candace Owens. Was she debating? Let me see. Was she debating Erica Kirk? Candace Erica Kirk. Let me see if I can find that. Candace Erica Kirk. I thought I saw somebody say that in the chat. I didn't. Was this it? I think she just. I'm not playing. Where is it? Oh, that was months ago. Oh, he covers it. Yeah. Should we take a look at this? You ready?
What a show. What a day. We're going to start with a deep dive into the right just eating itself alive. The Candace TPUSA conflict, Candace's challenge for Erica Kirk, Milo Yiannopoulos jumping in, Tim Pool jumping.
I love it. Luke must be a fan of the show. Luke must be a fan of blunt politics. I love it that we've now set the trend here. And so many people are now speaking about this MAGA civil war. Again, I love that you guys have, managed to find yourselves here at the right spot at the right time, listening to the right creator, where you kind of heard it here first, if not first, but very early on. And now it's being picked up by a lot of these other big superstars. And it's good to see that they watch the show. So Luke, appreciate you, brother. Everybody else that got their, got the idea. I'm kidding.
Jumping in, Nick Fuentes, and it's like you can't guess who's gonna go with who and where the battle lines are being drawn. And it's directly connected to Kirk's assassination and then all of the media that Candace has done, all the content that she's done after that. But it seems like something deeper is going on. And I don't know if even when this is not the topic anymore, the post-Kirk assassination, if those battle lines will go away necessarily.
Oh, because it's also about the Epstein files and it's also about Israel, right? Like we've people that have watched Blunt Politics, people that are fans of Blunt Politics can recite to you. Anybody asks you, hey, what do you think this MAGA civil war is over? You can be like, oh, easy. It's over Charlie Kirk, it's over the Epstein files, and it's over Israel. Easy. All of the fucking talking points, all of the conspiracy theories, all of the fighting, all of the videos stem back to those three talking points. That's it. That's all you got to know. So let me see here. I'm going to fast forward. I think he plays a couple clips here. I think he plays the Palantir. Do you guys see this one? I'm sure you guys saw this one.
Made. FDA's going public, building products, enterprise, large data sets, going to government, acknowledging
Cocaine
America.
is good. Cocaine is good. Jesus Christ. It's almost like these people are fucking, it's like we're bombing these Venezuelan supposed or alleged Venezuelan drug boats just to fucking keep up the habit of the Palantir CEO, Don Jr. and the rest of these fucking degenerates, right? So it was like, we did all the blow around here. We're gonna have to start stealing the Venezuelan boats. I mean, this guy was all jacked up. Check this. Look, he's up in his seat. He's down in his seat. Look at this shit.
Or more. When I made it, you know this. Every decision, Palantir.
I'd be like, get your fucking hand out of my face. First off, I don't know what you're doing, why you're so close. There's a table in between us for a reason. All of a sudden, now your hand's directly in front of my face. How about you sit back in the chair, Chief? I don't know. We'll get you some fucking Narcan if you need it. Just relax. We'll dial 911. This guy is all hopped up. Look at this. Oh, and then he goes on to play Don Jr.
Second and wowza! I don't feel quite that good.
All right, and then he's got a clip here of Candace Owens. Let me see what he plays here.
Well, an invitation, gave me 24 hours to respond to a tweet that they sent at midnight. Very strange. Again, everything just seems to be very strange and unnecessary that is coming out of Turning Point USA.
We're going to find out
You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we.
Oh, this was like someone calling her out. Okay. Because I have that clip.
Where does Erica Kirk come into it? Candace Owens. Where does Erica Kirk? Because it says they kind of battle here. Am I missing something? Let me see. Is she talking about Erica here, maybe?
He might be able to make it work.
Interesting.
There's no way. There's just no way.
Okay, maybe not. Where does Erica Kirk come in? Oh, she's right here. Okay. I see. Here we go.
I never remember, happiest couple that I've ever known. The one that I look up to is my parents. I've never seen them talk that way about each other. My mom has never been like, I will see if I can submit an inquiry to your father and see if His Highness will bless us with sleep with in your bed. That guy? I mean, like at night. Not he's right here. Dad? I don't know where this is going. So, Eric, the general allegations that.
What I find interesting about our party is that right now there is a lot of shuffling and mixing up. And I feel like when things are shuffling and mixing up, they're falling into place.
Yo, if she's not an industry plant, I don't know what the fuck is. She is just the most robotic, creepiest, just the most strange reaction to a law. I don't know. There's so much to this, the history with her in Israel and her dealings with the fucking, Trump organizations and Trump affiliations before, and just having a meeting Charlie in Israel and her father and mother's, like the whole thing. If she's not an industry plant, I don't know who the fuck is. I'm serious. I don't know who the fuck is.
There. And actually what he's doing is proving my point. These people just saw Charlie as a means to an end, okay? As a political horse that they could ride. And so for whatever.
That's the same clip that we saw earlier. We played that one earlier. But just fucking unhinged shit. But again, good to see other people spotlighting this, bringing it to other people's attention, kind of, again, sticking our crowbars in them. How long have we been saying that? How long have we been saying that on Blunt Politics? That we need to be sticking our fucking hands and feet and crowbars into the cracks that are now forming inside of MAGA. You can go back, I don't know how many months in this show. I don't know if you can do an AI search or shit that I've said on the show, but somebody do it and tell me when the first time I started saying that was. It was months ago that we were recognizing and trying to highlight and bring it to everybody's attention. Just what was going on. And it seems to be getting a lot more mainstream, which is also good. But yeah, more corruption. Again, in case you joined us late, we were talking about this earlier as well. So more corruption blatantly above and beyond Jared Kushner's involvement in, whatever this Ukraine peace process they're trying to fucking bullshit us, and talk about. And it's just really economic involvement with Trump's family in Russia so that they can, build a fucking that Trump Plaza in Moscow they've been wanting, or again, profit somehow off of, natural resources or whatever the partnership may be. You can be damn sure that they're going to try to grift and steal and cheat and get all of the fucking cents and dollars they possibly can into their own pockets. And we need to be watching out for it because, when Don Jr. and his companies, a startup funded by Don Jr., a venture-backed fucking capital firm is awarded $620 million from the Pentagon. Vulcan Elements. Take a look at it. Look it up on your free time if you want to. Vulcan Elements, it's called. VULCAN Elements. A small rare earth startup will receive funds as a part of a larger deal from the Defense Department. $620 million loan is the largest made by the Pentagon's Office of Strategic Capital. And it just so happens to be going to a company that would directly benefit the president's son. That's funny. And that just goes, that's not even the end of it, because this goes on to say that it's far from the first time that his companies have profited, because Vulcan is backed by the 1789 fund, another thing that you should be looking up and Googling and learning all about, where Trump sits on the board. 4 of the companies in the 1789 fund's portfolio have been awarded government contracts just this year to a tune of $735 million. right? So tell me there's no fucking funny business. There's nothing going on behind the scenes. Again, with Kushner's involvement, with the businesses and startups funded or owned or backed by Don Jr. or Eric, right? Not the first time, won't be the last time. And again, that's your money. That's my money. This isn't private funders' money. This is government contracts that Pete Hegseth is directly pushing into the pockets of the Trump administration. Excuse me, not even the Trump administration, just the Trump family in general. And it's pretty fucking crazy. All right, let's get back to, let's see if there's any more in this that I wanted to play. See if there's any clips. I think they play, I think it's the same clip we just heard there. Let's see.
Is women, young women in the city, look to the government as a solution to put off having a family or a marriage because you're relying on the government to support you.
This fucking bitch, this rich bitch is going to talk about how inner city women should fucking raise or not raise, or how they should depend or not depend upon, government subsidies that they're entitled to. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Instead of being united with the husband where you can support yourself and your husband can support, and you can guys all combine together. But I just find it so ironic and so interesting that a heavy percentage of the individuals that voted for him were female.
It's not that interesting and it's not that ironic at all, Erica Kirk, because you actually allow yourself to be afforded all of the luxuries of all of the civil rights fight that the suffragettes and other women fought for you to be able to be a full-time working mother, to be the CEO of a company. You just weaponize your gender to rubes so that you can grift off of them. And for you to sit there and know enough and to be smart enough that if you were dressed in your lace Tammy Faye Baker outfit with tarantula eyes and, the big bouffant evangelical hair, that you couldn't stroll up to the New York Times and sit down and be taken seriously.
Let's see what this one is real quick. We got just enough time to maybe dive into this.
The Supreme Court is
Because this
awful.
is talking about the Trump's disaster week as his administration embarrasses him with a stunning incompetence. So again, let me just dive into a couple minutes of this, see if we can laugh at him a little bit more.
I mean, they are absolutely horrific. I mean, what a horrific collection of the 6 Supreme Court justices that have, quote, devoted their life to law and order and have gone to these Ivy League schools and are supposed to be patriots and honor the Constitution, to throw everything down the toilet for a man who wears a full face of makeup, is breaking laws every single day in the White House, clearly has dementia, tried to give a microphone a blowjob. Is just truly one of the worst human beings on the planet.
Yes, he is. I agree wholeheartedly with all that sentiment. But I mean, I think you guys get the idea. You guys get the gist. If it's not corruption, it's incompetence. If it's not incompetence, it's fucking ignorance, right? But all of those have a huge way of joining forces: the ignorance, the incompetence, the carelessness, the shamelessness, the sycophancy, right? Being a psychopath, just all kind of lends itself to more and more danger. And it's good to see more and more people starting to, again, wake up to that fact. It seems like we go in waves in this country where, it seems like a lot of people are aware and, the dam's ready to break. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves right back, at the bottom of the barrel trying to fucking fight our way out of that same pool that we were just so close to getting out of not that long before, right? But, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for your time and your energy. Thank you for watching shows like this and staying, informed, up to date. You guys you really surprised me. You guys really impressed me. And, I'm just honored to be able to be in some part, a small part of bringing you guys either the news or, killing some time in your day, or whether or not it's friends or family members in the chat that bring you back, whatever it may be. I'm very honored that I can in any way contribute to you guys being part in being active in our politics and making sure that we're fighting on the right side of history. So why don't we get into thanking some people as we always do at the end of the show? Some shout outs, some highlights, some thank yous. Excuse me, would be fantastic. Let me see here. So we got, Damon, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you for the $10 Venmo. He says, congratulations on 15K. I appreciate that. It's all because of you guys. It's all with your help and your support that we've able to reach that milestone. So please don't thank me. Thank you guys. Thank the rest of the chat because you guys are just fantastic. I really do appreciate it. Oh, and Victoria. Thank you so much, Victoria. I appreciate you and Tom so much. Victoria says, happy belated birthday from Tom. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I really, really do. You guys have been unbelievable in helping this channel and supporting me and being so kind. So it goes a long way. I really do appreciate it. And I want you guys to know that, I acknowledge it. So thank you guys. Let me see. Was there anybody else that I missed? Thank you, Taco Bell. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Damon, again. Thank you, Peter, going back a couple days, but just to make sure that you guys, continuously get your praise. Thank you, Nicole, Allison, Damon again, Garrett, Thomas, my sister Kelly.
And the Supreme Court justices are supposed to be.
Good, it stopped. Thank you, Travis, Suzanne. Thank you, Yakov, Jim. I appreciate your moms. All of you guys have been fantastic. Let me hop over here on YouTube, see if there's anybody I can thank. You guys here. Oh, speaking of moms, thank you so much. My Church of Bryantology Tithing. Thank you so much. Thank you, moms. I appreciate that. And to anybody that's new and joining us, we do have a kind of a running joke on the cult of Donald Trump. We are now you are now involved and engaged in members of the Church of Bryantology. You are now a Bryantologist. But again, just a little joke that we have to make fun of the cult that is MAGA. Again, if you're just joining us and probably see that word going on in the chat, no, we're not crazy. We're not psychopaths. We're not a cult. We're just making fun of Trump. We're making fun of MAGA. So appreciate you, moms. Thank you so much. Slacks, what's up, brother? You fucking hummer, you. I appreciate you, brother. Love to you, Mel, Dungaree Dog, Logan. Love to all the Bryantologists. See, I told you we were going to see it. And thank you in advance for all your kind greetings. Right back at you, Slacks. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your contributions. It means a lot and goes a long way, dude. I appreciate you. Thank you, JD. Let's go. 15 for 15K. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. Thank you so much for your ongoing and continued contributions to the channel. Really means a lot. Thank you, Ruben. Shout out to you, brother. The grift continues, right? I mean, if that's not just a sign of what's going on behind the scenes, what they're trying to get away with, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. $800 million from this crypto shit, another 620 million, 735 million. If you add in the other contracts and the back end here, the Pentagon just shoveling out to Trump's family. Yeah, no, it all seems above board. I'm sure there's nothing illegal about that. But thank you, Ruben. Appreciate that. Thank you, Colleen, for the 5 gifted. Make sure we're thanking Colleen in the chat there for gifting 5 amazing people in the chat a gifted membership for a month. Again, anybody that does receive a gifted membership, if you find yourself liking and enjoying and being a part of the channel and want to re-up on that membership, please think about doing that. Because we always have some fantastic people in here gifting a ton of memberships, and then they inevitably kind of run out at some point. So we see those massive shifts that we're trying to, do away with. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Colleen. Thank you to everybody else contributing as well. Thank you, Mark. Let's go. As an artist, it is horrible for me to see Trump doing this to the Kennedy Center, right? I mean, it's just, and everybody, depending on what your affiliation with is in your daily life and what you grew up doing, like everybody kind of has that moment in which it really kind of touches home. For you, when you see Donald Trump do something, or you see him kind of attack a certain place, or, a certain organization, or whatever it may be. So, I'm sure there's a lot of artists out there, Mark, that kind of feel very similarly to the way that you do. So we appreciate you here, brother. We really do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing. Peace metal from Boston. No, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. Not a chance. There are so many people more deserving out there and, actually have something to do with, peace in this world that, I wouldn't even, I know it's a joke. I know you're kidding. But again, just in my world, even if that did happen, if I found myself in Donald Trump's shoes, like I would just outright reject it. It would be fucking asinine to accept a medal like that. But Mark, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Paul, for the 20, dude. Another Peace Award fund. You deserve this along with everybody else doing independent media, not the orange turd. Well, I appreciate it. I'll accept the kind words, just not the medal. How about that? We'll pass that off to the Smithsonian or somebody more deserving. But thank you, Paul. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Wes. Let's go. 1111. Make a wish. Q Magatology is a lost art. Just try to walk as a child of truth, a child of the light. No darkness. Just believe all that is true. be like all earlier heroes. Well, amen to you, Wes. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you, Marsha, for being here for 7 months. Marsha says, you may not see me all the time, but I'm here. I believe you. I believe it. I believe it. And again, a lot of people, you don't even have to engage in the chat. A lot of people just watching in the background, and we appreciate you as well. The chat's not for everybody, but if it is for you, feel free to hop in there and start engaging. Thank you, Marsha. We appreciate that. And thank you for the $10 super sticker as well. And thank you for the gifted membership as well. Appreciate you, Marsha. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, JD, with the 5 gifted. Thank you, Ruben, with the gifted membership. Ruben again with another gifted. Marsha again with another gifted. Carol, let's go, Carol, for 8 months. It says, thank you for your sacrifice, Boston Brian. No, thank you, Carol. You guys are making the sacrifice. You guys are making the sacrifice, to be engaged and to watch the different channels and platforms that you do and taking the time out of your day to stay engaged and stay informed. So thank you, Carol. Not me. Thank you. And thank you, Romulan. Appreciate you, brother, for the 5. Charlie Kirk is at what Damian Thorne said in Omen 3, the paradise of pain. No arguments. No notes, nothing to correct on that one. So we appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Oh, I love that symbol, the 00. I love the 007. Big fan of 007 here. All right. Thank you, Wes, brother. Who is right if everybody is wrong? Am I right? No, I'd say we're all wrong and right at the same time. Just make the argument a little more difficult. But thank you, Wes. I appreciate you, dude, so much. Thank you, JD. Siempre antifascista. Always anti-fascist. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, dude. I agree. Happy Lobsterversary to me. Thank you so much for being here for 21 months. Rocks. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Appreciate you and everything you do. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mark, again, for the 5. Candace Owens says Macron's wife is a man. Trump style projection. I mean, again, it's all projection. It is all projection when it comes to these people. Anything they say about the other side, you can be damn sure they're guilty of it themselves. And that goes for, no, it doesn't go for Kristen. Sorry, I got my words mixed up on that one. I'd like to also say thank you to Kristen. That does. I was trying to wrap you up, although I don't know why that just happened. My apologies. Hug, respect from a hippie grandma, loving y'all from Canada. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. Hugs right back to you and all of your loved ones as well. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing. Make sure you share this out to anybody else that might find some interest in this. I don't care if it's in Canada, Mexico, Europe, wherever it may be. If you have some friends or family, Kristen, please share this out to them. I would be very much obliged. But thank you so much. Thank you, Spock. Appreciate that. Have a happy day, everyone. Right back to you. And congratulations on being here for 14 months. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it. And to round it out, thank you, Ruben. Appreciate that. Thank you for the 10. Thank you for the 10. Thank you so much for everything you guys do and continuously do. Don't forget that we added another show. So in case you were sick of seeing my face already, you'll be even more sick of seeing my face because we've added a new show on Friday. We'll be seeing you Fridays starting this week, 2 p.m. Eastern. That is 11 a.m. here on the West Coast, just like on Tuesdays and just like on Thursdays. So it should be pretty easy for you to remember that. If you're around, hop in the show. Be sure to check it out. And again, this is just the full schedule now. Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 2 shows. And then we got Thursdays and Fridays now. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. The more you guys support, the more we'll be here. Maybe we'll even add more shows. I'm trying to put out more shorts, more videos to help the channel. So if you guys could hop over to my page and take a look at the shorts and take a look at the videos that I put out, either share them out, throw a like on any of them. It goes a long way in, filtering people towards the channel to, again, so we can share the burden. We can share the financial burden of, trying to pay the electrical bill and put food on the table while also making sure this show can remain to, not only include and involve, but inform and entertain, right? So I appreciate you guys. I will see you. What's today? Sunday. I'll see you Tuesday. Thank you so much for your kind contributions. Thank you, Dad, for for showing up here in the chat. We really do appreciate you. Mom, love you. Kelly, Tim, love you guys. Appreciate you. Mel, love you as well. Thank you to all the mods. But yeah, let me get out of here so I don't take up any more time in your day. Go ahead and support some other independent creators. Again, if I give you the most bang for your buck, please think about shooting over a Venmo, a super chat, super sticker. You can do PayPal. You can sign up for patreon.com or a YouTube membership. But, again, that's if you're in the financial position to do so. If not, don't worry about it. Everybody's struggling right now in one way or another. So I completely understand and don't hold it against anybody. You can like, share, and subscribe. That is all free. All right. I'll see you Tuesday, guys. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate you. Thank you, mods. Thank everybody else. I'm Boston Brian. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. Get out of your seats. Get out of your No, don't. Yeah, do get out of your seats. Do get into the streets. Find your nearest protest. Find your nearest rally. But do keep your head on a swivel as well. Make sure you're staying safe. And I promise not to fuck that up on the next show. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Peace. Thank you, William. Appreciate you becoming a new YouTube member, brother. Thank you so much. Oh, West Coast version. Thanks, Pops. Love you, big guy. Thank you, Steph. Thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Please make sure you hit that like, thumbs up, whatever it is on your respective platforms. Oh, thank you, JD. Thank you so much, JD. Unbelievably kind of you and unbelievably deserved. Mel did a lot of work. Continues to do a lot of work with all the graphics and stuff. Appreciate that. Take your time, Brenda. Take your time. Take a day off. Take a couple days off. Recuperate. Your mental health, your strength is going to be needed. Right back at you, Deb. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Paul. Rob.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. God bless the United States.
We always do about this time.
They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means? Acclimated. In the hell was that all about? You're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your. Yesterday was a hard word for me. Eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off, they're too bright, turn them off!
Thank you, Rock. Uh-oh, last pipes, live and dirty. Live and dirty. Thanks, Masha. I appreciate that. They have Hara House of Pancakes about pancake attack. They'll make a movie about anything nowadays, won't they? Hey, Jenny Faye. How are you, kiddo? Appreciate you. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. I'll see you Tuesday.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
White people are a mortal danger to you and your loved ones.
Never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting, never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late.
He says, wrecked him, damn near killed him.
Wrong. Army manned the air. Wrong. Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. Wrong. Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took took over the airports. It did.
Wrong. I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America. And I'm not going to be like yuppie scum and deny the threat to my country. I'm going.
Where you going? Nowhere.
What uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
Tell the director to call the White House. Do your fucking job.
Or go fuck yourself.
Venezuela. Did you just see? And Gavin Newsom is going to sign those papers. And if he doesn't sign those papers, we won't give him money to put out all his fires.
Or go fuck yourself. Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Bad news, bad news. Even when it's good news, it's bad news.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.